Today, Q possibly exposes secret conversation between Pelosi and the CEO of Twitter. Plus, there's a showdown on Capitol Hill as Admiral Rogers goes up against Clapper and Brennan in a closed hearing. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start off every one of these episodes by saying thank you to every one of my subscribers. You guys are what make this channel possible, so thank you to each and every one of you. If you have not hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to come do it. Come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, jumping right into the Q board, we have a lot to go over here, okay? We have Q drops in progress, so who knows, we may get more as this video goes on, but we're going to take the time to actually go through each and every one of these and stick around for the last part of the episode where we're going to talk about some very interesting developments as far as the executive orders coming out and Trump working to expose the subpoenaed documents that have been called for by the the House Intelligence Committee. So stick around for that. But the first post is Q giving us a picture back to March 3rd when he posted this, saying, "Stay together, be strong, get organized, be heard, fight the censorship. You, the people, have all the power. You simply forgot how to play. Together you are invincible. They want you divided. They want you silenced. Make noise. We are with you. Make it rain." Q. All right. So that's Q telling us to look at this. And then Q goes on to say, North Korean news today, fake. Twitter news today, fake, or real, excuse me. Under the radar, free speech manipulation, visibility, reach, in the kill box in brackets there. Facebook account deletion, 100% fake. Checks and balances, none. Hashtag Internet Bill of Rights. And then it gives a kill box around narrative control, bandwidth test, public response, test limitations, midterms, politicians bought and paid for, start a storm, Q. So this is some very interesting stuff that we have to be upset about. Now, what I'm going to talk about is going to be, first, we're going to talk about the North Korean news. Now, this is reported out of the Daily Mail and other outlets, and this is a headline on Drudge that I talked about yesterday, where it's saying that North Korea is threatening to cancel the nuclear summit, which would make no sense whatsoever, given the fact that they've made so many capitulations up to this point. There's no reason for them to want to cancel it, so it's kind of irrational, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Q is telling us that it shouldn't make that much sense because it's fake. So there you go. The next one is the Twitter news. Okay, so that's from today, which was yesterday. So it's saying Twitter will hide more bad tweets and conversations and searches. And this is all talking about shadow banning and how they're basically admitting that they're doing it. And that's disturbing for most people who, want freedom of speech on the internet. And that we'll get into a little bit later in the broadcast here. But it says, under the radar, free speech manipulation, visibility, reach, and kill box. So now this is a very interesting one. It says Facebook fake account deletion, 100% fake, checks and balances, none. This is telling us about this story here, where Facebook disabled 1 billion fake accounts in the last year. And it was saying that it's cracking down on the Russian bots and the fake accounts that are being put up. But Q's asking a very poignant question here. Is it 100% fake? Were the 100% of the billion accounts that were deleted fake? Or were they actually silencing those who have diverging opinions from what their narrative is? Or were they censoring conservatives? I mean, how many of those conservatives, or how many of those billion accounts that were deleted and belong to conservatives, or people who are libertarians, or people who support national sovereignty and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and the Second Amendment? How many of those were the ones deleted? And then Q saying checks and balances. There is no checks and balances to any of this. There is no oversight. There is no accountability. They are only accountable at Facebook to their shareholders. And they're accountable to follow law, but who is in there checking? Where is the check and balance to their monopoly over the social media empire, or the social media game that they have cornered with their Facebook or /LifeLog? And if you guys don't know what that's referencing, Facebook is basically a DARPA project. The DARPA project lifelog ended on the same day that Facebook was began, and it was a broad, sweeping dragnet to collect as much information as each individual as they could, and then to tag you with a unique ID, and then to put your data into a meta database that could be searched like as easy as a Google search with your email address or your phone number or something of that nature. So Q's telling us there are no checks and balances, and that the Facebook fake account deletion is them testing. So this is what it is. And Q's telling us we need to remember the Internet Bill of Rights here. So, but Q's saying narrative control, bandwidth test, public response, test limitations, midterms. This is what the Facebook news is all about. That's the whole game they're playing. They're testing the narrative control. They're testing their bandwidth, the ability to reach out. They're testing what the public response would be, so if there's any backlash. And they're testing their limitations and getting ready for the midterms, where they're going to just go 100% to get that majority in the House so they can start the impeachment proceeding. We have to stop it. We have to point out that these politicians are bought and paid for. And we have to start a storm. This is what Q is telling us, I believe. So please, everybody out there, please make your own judgment. But this is what I believe, how it can be interpreted the best way. That makes the most sense, and is pointing to some pretty nefarious things that are going on in plain sight. They're not even trying to hide it from us. That's the thing. They're telling us to our face. They're telling us to our face that they've deleted 1 billion fake, what they call quote unquote fake accounts. Who could ever possibly know? Where is the check and balance to know that those are all fake accounts, and that they didn't belong to real people who have had their voices taken away, their First Amendment rights taken away by a dystopian, Orwellian, monolithic company like Facebook. So you guys make your own decision, but I'm going to encourage everybody to go sign the Internet Bill of Rights, even though they're obviously working to sabotage that from getting any traction. I tried this before. It's almost impossible to get the traction moving with the Internet Bill of Rights, because it seems like they mess with the amount of signatures that go onto it. And not only that, there's no consensus on exactly what the Internet Bill of Rights should be. Broadly speaking, it's supposed to be a protection of our individual rights. And a lot of people have put together different drafts of what they believe the Internet Bill of Rights. And there's actually one up on whitehouse.gov in the petitions. That's another basically draft of the Internet Bill of Rights. So we need more consensus and somebody to come and step forward with a broader outline of a concise set of rights that we should be asking for. Although some would argue that already exists, and that the petition that's on the White House board right now is what we should be seeking. Not that it matters, because this is just a petition to get them to look at it, to get it started. So if you want to go sign it, go sign it. But we have to be cognizant of how the Bill of Rights is structured and then put together and then implemented, because those are going to be things that affect all of us on a daily basis. So that's my interpretation of that. If you have any other thoughts, please leave them down in the comments. Now, the next post we're going to go over is an AN0N here posting these two stories, right? The first of which is talking about how Google has betrayed the anti-Breitbart bias, or Google betrays anti-Breitbart bias with lying Home Assistant. So when you ask their little Alexa version of their own little voice bot that you put in your house as a secret spy for them, so they can just basically monitor you 24/7 with you inviting them in. But when the person asked, what are the headlines at Breitbart News, the Google Assistant responded with a Huffington Post article from a former employee of Breitbart, where it says, quote, "I quit Breitbart because of the lying. Sarah Huckabee Sanders should take a cue." Well, that's Google for you. I mean, this is the same machine that'll tell you that, you know, I think I've seen videos, it was either this one or Alexa, that tells you that God doesn't exist and that it's a myth, but then they're more than happy to tell you about the great prophet Muhammad. It's ridiculous is what it is. So then the next story that is mentioned here and outlined is the story we kind of went over about the Twitter here. And it's just better worded title, I believe. Twitter officially admits to shadow banning users in all but name. It says Twitter has acknowledged that it is working to artificially limit the reach of troll-like accounts on the platform, shadow banning users in all but name, a practice that the company has repeatedly denied. So now they're just telling us. They're not lying anymore. There is no deception here. The deception is that they're literally telling you to your face what they're doing. Okay? That's the deception, because it's a deceptive practice, but they're just telling you because they don't care. So Q responds, right, with something very interesting. He says 5-2 in a kill box here. And it says Nancy, and we're taking this as to mean Nancy Pelosi and Jack Dorsey, who's the CEO of Twitter. So Nancy Pelosi, Speaker blank, your protection against. And then Jack Dorsey, who this is allegedly a conversation that has been recorded of, says ABC has an interest in this, ... And then Nancy Pelosi replies, blank, Pier 39. Now, Pier 39 is a place in San Francisco. It's kind of a popular tourist spot in San Francisco. And it was the target of a deranged person's plot just recently. A Modesto man was accused of plotting a terrorist attack. This was back in like January, where he was going to actually stage an attack on Pier 39 in San Francisco on Christmas Day, apparently. It's interesting. I don't know how much that has to do with this, because I think this is what Q is telling us, is that this happened on May 2nd, this conversation. And a lot of people have had a lot of speculation. I just wanted to point out Pier 39. But Pier 39 is in Nancy Pelosi's district as well, so that would make sense that they would be having a conversation about it. And it is a popular tourist spot. But it says Speaker blank. So some people think this is 7 X's. So it could be Speaker Boehner. We all know John Boehner was the former Speaker of the House. And his name would fit there. Some have said it's referring to Speaker Ryan. Others have said that it's speaking about a person who Nancy Pelosi is going to install as the next Speaker of the House. Somebody named Lofgren. She worked with Nancy Pelosi at one point or another. But here is some interesting stuff that I wanted to point to. We'll go to that in 1 second. But Lofgren was the one they've said it might be in the conversation, saying Speaker whoever, your protection against. I was thinking maybe, I don't know, but it was will get your protection against. Now, a lot of other people have made a few insinuations about ABC. ABC first is people talking about Google, because we all know Alphabet is Google's name now, their stock trading name. So is it talking about Google being interested in this? And then we don't know what's said here, but it says Pier 39. So were they going to have a meeting at Pier 39? Was that what that's suggesting? Nancy Pelosi and Jack Dorsey? We don't know. It would seem hard for them to have any kind of meeting in public given their notoriety, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, there are a few good interpretations of what this information is showing us, right? First, we have from February 15th. This is a very interesting post from Q where he says, at Jack, which is Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter's Twitter name. Civilian puppet, player in the game. We play for keeps. Need help sleeping? How was your meeting with Pelosi? Protection offered. Life lesson. Be smarter than those controlling you. T-12 :34. Q. So that in and of itself is interesting. And now we have this talking about Pier 39, which is in San Francisco. And they're talking about protection against. Protection offered, protection against. Right? And people have interpreted this a few different ways. Other things that stand out, obviously, are tweets that were made by Jack around this time. So May 3rd, if this did happen, let's just say this happened on May 2nd, that this conversation happened where Nancy Pelosi said that a speaker, former, current, or future, is basically offering protection against, and ABC has an interest in this. And a lot of people are talking about the Internet Bill of Rights too, that they would have an interest in protecting themselves against that. So that's one interpretation, right? But let's say this happened on 5/2. The very next day, you have Jack saying that they discovered a bug where account passwords were being written to an internal log before completing a masking hashing process. We fixed, see no indication of breach or misuse, and believe it's important for us to be open about this internal defect. Well, maybe they were forced to be open about this internal defect because they were exposed by intelligence agencies or otherwise for what they were doing, which is, you imagine all of your login information. A lot of people aren't, like some who are more cautious and use different login information at every different website because they don't want to risk if their data is compromised on one site, they don't want to have the risk of it being compromised across every platform that you work on online or work off of. So, but they're taking your login information, and most people probably use the same. Use the same password and email or whatever to get into their things, and this is what Zuckerberg was doing when he first started Facebook. He was like, I can't believe these people trust me and give me their password and stuff. And now they're telling us that they're not masking the login information that you're using. And that's why they told us all to change our passwords. And then this AN0N puts in here, this WYD. Now, WYD, some people have said it means World Youth Day, this initiative by the Pope, which they put out here. But it's an acronym used in like slang on text where it would be what you doing, like what are you doing? Not sure how that all connects. And then you have Nancy Pelosi on May 2nd. She tweets at Donald Trump. She says, he has proven numerous times his disdain for the rule of law. This comment is just the latest. At Speaker Ryan must direct the House to take steps to protect the Mueller investigation. So Speaker Ryan may very well have been who they are referencing, right? And Q could have just put the extra X's in to throw people off because it can't be so obvious, right? But I don't know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments of what you think. But imagine if he's talking about Speaker Ryan offering protection, what would the protection be for? Well, it would be against them destroying the Mueller investigation, because the Mueller investigation is kind of the crux to everything. It's the Democrats' only legitimate effort to undermine and impeach the president. Now, they have a lot of other things they're running, a lot of other operations of disinformation they're running alongside the Mueller investigation and propaganda and disinformation, whatever. But the Mueller investigation is the one that has the legitimacy that they all are trying to get behind, because, I mean, it's what stands between them and basically complete annihilation if you expose the corruption that they're all actually being alleged to be involved with. So that's interesting. And then they go through the AN0N here puts together exactly what he thinks it is, and it could be Boehner, Speaker Boehner, and it could be Paul Ryan. And then they connect the WYD to World Youth Day, which I'm not sure. That seems like a little bit of a stretch to me, but it could be connected. Who knows? And they're talking about the timestamps between these and how they all connect. Well, that is incredibly fascinating. If you guys have any other thoughts on what this could mean, please leave your thoughts in the comments. But that's where I get it to right now, or that's where I've gotten it to right now as far as putting together what it could or could not possibly mean. So you guys let me know and share in the comments if you have any more ideas on that. Now, the next post, Q is telling us, no such agency versus clowns in America today. Now, what is being revealed? What will it lead to? P.S. Peter Strzok, I believe, faces of lawmakers stepping out. Focus. When did Admiral Rogers step down? Reconcile. Nunez, Gowdy, DOJ, FBI, next half. Q. And the halves in a kill box in brackets. So what is this telling us? Well, today, obviously, for those of you who have been paying attention to the news, you will have noticed that we have the House Intelligence, the Senate Intelligence Committees and the House Intelligence Committees all meeting. But today they had the Senate Intelligence Committee interviewing Admiral Rogers. They were interviewing Clapper, Brennan, and Admiral Rogers, and they were supposed to have Comey there, right? Comey decides not to show up. He has, quote unquote, a prior engagement or something like that, right? So he's scared. But why is this so important? And why is Q pointing to us? Well, obviously we know Admiral Rogers. He is the former head of the NSA. He's one who's been, alleged by a lot of people to be deeply involved with the Q phenomenon, given that the information that they're exposing has to be coming from something like NSA metadata servers or something, secret spy program where they basically collect and tap every phone and collect every piece of information that's transferred digitally in the United States and otherwise. So, but the main point of what Q is saying here, though, is something very, very important, right? It's the NSA versus the clowns today. So you have Clapper and Brennan, the clowns, and you have Admiral Rogers and the NSA representing them giving a testimony to Congress. Now, what was revealed during this testimony? Well, we have a few things that were revealed during this testimony, it would seem. The Senate committee has now gotten together and decided that they are going to oppose the House Intelligence Committee with, the House Intelligence Committee has people like Devin Nunes and others, DeSantis, who are firmly in belief that the Russia hoax, the Russia collusion allegation is a hoax. But now it's interesting to note how they say this. They say that the Russian election meddling meant to help Trump and hurt Clinton. The Senate Intelligence Committee has agreed on that. You have Richard Burr and Mark Warner of the Democrat and Republican heads of the Intelligence Committee coming to a consensus that Russia did meddle in the election and tried in an unprecedented attempt to throw the election for Donald Trump because Russia is so powerful and their economy is the size of not even as big as California. No. It's not that at all. That's what they're saying. I'm sorry, I was being facetious with the voice there, but what they're getting at is something that's an important point to make, I think, that I wanted to make, is that election meddling is not the same as collusion. And collusion's not a crime unless you're colluding to commit some sort of treasonous act against America. But improving our economy and improving our unemployment rates and making America great again is not a treasonous offense, as far as the last time I read up on the constitutional law surrounding treason. But it says election meddling. So yes, Russia's been meddling in our election forever. This is not news. This is not something that needs to have big headlines, except they're going to use this in the mainstream media to continue this Russia story, to keep Mueller in his position of special investigator, to keep Sessions out of what they're trying to do, which is put together an impeachment for Donald Trump. And these people in the Senate Intelligence Committee, I've heard allegations that these people are so basically bought and paid for. These people aren't working for the American people. They're working for the largest corporate donors in the room. Let's be quite honest, okay? If for 1 second you think Richard Burr or Mark Warner are working for you, the people, I hate to say it, but in my humble opinion, you're wrong. They're not. They're working for the corporate elitist globalist cabal of globalist Luciferian pedophiles who give them money and put money into their coffers for their campaigns. So just remember that as we move forward through this Q post. That was the showdown today on Capitol Hill, and that was happening now as Q was posting. But it says, what is being revealed and what will it lead to? Peter Strzok, well, this is interesting. Faces of lawmakers stepping out. I think stepping out would be those who didn't show up, like Comey, like we just went over, how Comey stands up the committee. But what I think it's more overly pointing to is something that is very, very interesting here. Excuse me. Let me pull up the right article. I'm jumping around here. Okay. So this was an investigative report. This has been reported on many different sites as of today, or as of yesterday, and it's saying that Brennan used FBI agent Peter Strzok as author for intelligence community assessment and placed dossier material into Obama's daily briefing. So what they're saying here is that basically, Strzok was the go-between between Comey and Brennan used Strzok to get the information into the FBI files so that it would be put into Obama's daily briefing, and that's how what people are saying, how they use this information against the Trump campaign. And this is all coming out that you can't have the sitting president spying on the president-elect and spying on his campaign before he was nominated, and then trying somehow to use that information to make political decisions for yourself and your party. That's completely unethical, immoral at the least, and illegal at the worst. Criminal. So this is what they did. This scumbag John Brennan. I hate to, I don't like to have so much hate in my heart for an individual, but he is a very, very bad person. Raisin-faced turd muffin. So that's what he is. And we keep going. We talk about how is this all connected? Well, Comey was communicating with Strzok. And then it turns out now they're even coming out and saying, well, first off, let's go back and look at this. From April 30th, you had the Office of the Inspector General put out this, right? They said that they have findings of misconduct by an FBI special agent for contacting witnesses for an improper purpose, divulging law enforcement sensitive information on unauthorized individuals, providing misleading testimony, providing false information to the Office of the Inspector General, mishandling classified information, and misusing government devices and his position. Now, they don't name him, but they say that this retired FBI special agent, so look at the people who Q have said before are retiring, and then think about who could it be. A couple guesses right off the top of my head. Obviously, people like Andrew McCabe and others who are involved in this could be who are being referenced here, but we don't know yet, so that's all speculative. Let's just keep moving forward with the Q posts because there's more here. So what will it lead to? P.S. Faces of lawmakers stepping out. Focus. When did Admiral Rogers step down? Well, for that information, it's right here. Admiral Rogers stepped down on May 4th, right? That's when they had the ceremony where Paul Nakasone took command of U.S. Cybercom and the NSA from Admiral Rogers, Michael Rogers. And they had a whole ceremony for it, but this was the day that it happened, right? So let's think about this and consider when all this is happening and why did it happen? Why did Admiral Rogers have to step down or choose to step down? I mean, obviously there are terms and things like that involved where you can't serve forever, but I'm not even sure if there's a term for that position as director of the NSA. But there certainly is something going on here where Admiral Rogers is going to be a part of, like today on Capitol Hill, testifying in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee against, or with, I should say, Brennan and Clapper. So, and supposedly, and Comey was supposed to be there, I should say. So, and he didn't show up. Obviously, Comey is scared. He's for a 6'8" guy, he's a scared little wimp sometimes, in my opinion, or most of the time, given his actions and his past and what he's done to our country. That, in my opinion, the traitor that he has made himself into through his actions. So it's interesting, though, is that it's also coming out now that that Peter Strzok was sent by Comey to Russia. This was a story that kind of broke, where they were talking about how Peter Strzok was sent to London, right? So here's a great graphic that's going to put it all down. You have this James Comey not expected to attend Senate Russia hearing, of course, because he's a little wimp baby, scumbag traitor. And Q points out here in this post, he's saying, what is being revealed? What will it lead to Peter Strzok? Now it's saying that this is a new report just coming out today, talking about how Jim Comey sent Peter Strzok to London 90 days before the election under the mission codenamed Crossfire Hurricane to try to frame Trump. Then Comey lied about it to Congress and the DOJ. Wow. If that's true, this is an allegation. This has not been verified. I haven't seen anything to verify this information yet, but I can tell you that I've seen it from multiple sources coming out already. So is this what is going to be exposed? That the FBI was involved in creating the Steele dossier, sending Strzok to London to make this fake dossier to try to influence the election. And that he, Jim Comey and Peter Strzok, they both were working together, but then they were working, Peter Strzok was the go-between between Clapper, Brennan, and Comey. So that's the nexus, how they all work together in a conspiracy against the president or the future president of the United States at that time. He wasn't yet the future, or he wasn't yet the acting president. This is disgusting, deplorable, and quite honestly, this is what's giving the FBI a black eye. This is what's giving the CIA a black eye. This is what's making them all look like evil, unaccountable criminal organizations. Now, I'm not talking about the rank and file, the guys out there working every day and stopping crime, because the FBI does a lot of great things. They are catching criminals. Even the Secret Service is doing some great work right now, just going out there and pursuing these criminal pedophiles and all of that. It is amazing to see such great work coming down from these law enforcement agencies, but it's saddening and disheartening to know that this is what the state of affairs was before Trump got elected and decided to clean up the swamp. So I had to share that with you guys. Now it's saying reconcile Nunes, Gowdy, DOJ, FBI, next half Q. Well, I think Nunes and Gowdy are going to be more and more important as we go forward in calling this out. The FBI and the DOJ are definitely in the middle of a house cleaning, and the next half is going to be pretty crazy when it comes out about Peter Strzok, Comey, and their connection to Brennan and what they were doing in Operation Crossfire Hurricane in London. What was that all about? So if you guys have any thoughts, please leave them down in the comments. But we're going to jump right in the next one. So the next one says, Q posting says, follow the pen, already written, letters left visible to match. And then it gives this tweet. So this tweet is from Representative Jim Jordan. And Jim Jordan says, it's high time for transparency. The DOJ and FBI have continually and repeatedly thwarted congressional oversight. We're asking President Trump to direct the Attorney General to give us the documents because the American people deserve answers. Now, what he's referring to here is the several subpoenas that these congressmen have been sending to Department of Justice and FBI for millions of documents and of information that's their job to oversee. The Oversight Committee's job is to oversee things, oversee the integrity of law enforcement agencies and the Justice Department. So what we're seeing here is that, so Jim Jordan writes this letter, and the letter says, the first paragraph is really important. It says, we write to request that you, and this is to President Trump, it says, we write to request that you exercise your authority as President of the United States to instruct Attorney General Jeff Sessions to immediately produce all documents requested by Congress relating to our investigation of certain prosecutorial and investigative decisions made by the Department of Justice and FBI in 2016 and 2017. So, and it goes on to talk about how Rod Rosenstein has said he's going to cooperate, and now he has been uncooperative. And what's important, though, to take away here is what they're talking about here about the president's special authority, right? So what is President Trump's special authority? Well, he has the authority to release all of this information and to supersede the DOJ and the FBI people like Rosenstein who are refusing to share this information. But another paragraph is important, and we'll read right here. It says, to complete our independent oversight and investigative duties, we must obtain all documents responsive to previous requests by Congress. This includes the documents released to potential abuses of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, documents related to the FBI and broader Department of Justice initial investigation into the Trump campaign prior to the appointment of the special counsel, and the unredacted August 2017 memo written by Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein that articulated the scope of the special counsel's jurisdiction. So they've redacted the memo that actually has the Deputy Attorney General, the acting Attorney General over this investigation, who's articulating the scope of the special counsel's jurisdiction. But they've redacted that. So they can't even read what the scope of the special counsel's jurisdiction is. They can't even have access to that information. If that doesn't light a fire under your, you know what, I don't know what will. This is like what's going on here that we're being pointed to, obviously, by Q. Q says, where we go one, we go all. Now, what they're talking about with this letters and matching, it's this right here. So we got this picture a while back of the pen, right? And it seemed like there was White House letterhead here, and it's a very fancy pen, one that Trump may use to I don't know, he uses a marker to sign executive orders, but this could be a pen that he uses on daily. That's just a nice, I think, $500 pen or something. A Mont Blanc, I guess you would say. But what they're pointing to is that the letter we just went over from Jim Jordan, if you line up these letters, it says, and Q told us, letters left visible to match. If you line up the letters just so, you can see exactly at the top where you have the R or the or TH and A, but this is speculative. Nobody's really verified that this is exactly what we are looking at. But this is the running theory, especially on the boards right now, that this was a picture of the actual letter being sent to the president to ask him to exercise his authority as president of the United States, his special privilege to tell Attorney General Jeff Sessions to immediately produce all documents. Now, that's just what a lot of people put together when it says letters left visible to match, and that the executive order is already written, I think, is what they're saying. Or the executive order to have Sessions turn over all that all the documentation is already ordered. Now it says, why is Peter Strzok in London for Comey in Operation Hurricane? That's what we just went over, Crossfire Hurricane. And it's saying Secret Intelligence Service or Signals Intelligence Service or Special Intelligence Service, whatever it is, however you want to say that acronym, it is meaning the, basically, in my opinion, the shadow government, the intelligence agencies, the 17 intelligence agencies that were 100% in agreement that Trump is a Russia collusion bot. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. That's pointing to the deep state, I think. That's pointing to the fact that Peter Strzok was involved in this, and he was sent over by the deep state in order to do this on their behalf. Now, the next two posts that we're going to go over are an AN0N here posting the sign. Excuse me. And apparently we have I'm sorry for the interruption there, but apparently we have a brand new Q post that's talking about exactly what we were just discussing in the SIS, and we'll get into that in a second. But first, we're going to talk about this post here. We're talking about the pen, right? And the Jim Jordan status. And Q just points to that. So I think that's definitely meant to be connected. Obviously, that's what Q's trying to tell us. So let's jump right into the next one. So now is a GIF or whatever, one of these, why can't I'm drawing a blank on them. But anyway, you know what this is. And it's an AN0N posting this, and he says, new eyes joining the fight, Q. And then Q responds, those with an agenda to silence will fail. Pain coming, Q. So I'm not sure what that reference is talking about yet. A lot of people have speculated a few different things, but none of them really sound cogent to me yet. And I'm still working on decoding that one. But I'd love your help if you guys know who is being referred to. I think it's talking about Brennan and the three-letter agencies and the alphabet agencies and those type of organizations. So now, if you guys have any insight or input there, please contribute it. I'd love to hear it down in the comments. But the next one, for the sake of time, we're just going to move through these, hopefully, and then we'll continue back and look back on some of these as we go forward. But it says, U.S. history, Killbox ABCs. So obviously I think what the ABC reference were the three-letter agencies, the alphabet agencies, the FBI, CIA, so on. Now, it's saying secret or special or signals intelligence service, Killbox FBI, pointing to CIA or greater than CIA. It says, did the covert counterintelligence branch of the FBI end? Or was it expanded into a new agency? Double meanings exist. SIS is good. UK, US, US, UK, Q. Okay, so Q's telling us here right now that a mirror, right? So US and the United States and the United Kingdom are obviously have meshed their intelligence agencies somehow. And they're saying that is the signals intelligence or secret intelligence service good? And the double meanings do exist. So he's telling us that basically, in my opinion, that the covert counterintelligence branch of the FBI merged into the CIA. And they actually probably created a whole new agency that is probably secret and we don't know about. And that agency was tapped to undermine President Trump through the Russian dossier from Christopher Steele, where you have Peter Strzok being sent over by James Comey on behalf of probably John Brennan and Clapper to London in order to get that dossier or start the manufacturing of that dossier 90 days before the election of Donald J. Trump in 2016. But whatever the double meaning is, I'm not sure on that 100% yet, other than that you have this SIS, which I think is a service in the British Armed Forces as well. So is it that we've somehow merged with the UK and then, I mean, their basic socialist society is trying with the crown and other influences, they're trying to undermine our national sovereignty. That's what I think is being implicated here. But if you guys have any better thoughts than that, please contribute them down in the comments. This has been a little bit of a longer episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching and going through all this. So if you're looking for a way to contribute to the channel, the easiest way by far, it helps me out big time, it's like throwing me a buck and it costs you nothing, is if you have not hit that subscribe button, to come here and hit the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified, because as soon as the information is made available to me, I do my best to make it available to you. Now, another great way to help out, which is my favorite, is to scroll down at the end of this video, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comment board. Like I say, we try to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos where we go over the latest Q posts and we talk about possible meanings and possible ways of analyzing it in different thoughts that we hadn't maybe talked about here on the channel. But you guys always get a great dialogue going down there amongst yourselves, and I like to come monitor and read and chime in, and I learn so much, and we all learn together. So it's great. Even if you can't comment, just scroll down and read through the comments. I guarantee you'll learn something you didn't know previously. So I want to say also, come over and check me out at Twitter if you guys want to get involved here. You can come check me out at Justin_formed. Or you can probably search Justin Form Talk and you'll find my Twitter page if you want to come over here and give me a follow and tweet some memes at me that we want to get out there in the internet. But another great way to contribute is going to be for you to come over here to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. You can search Justin Form Talk. It'll take you to this landing page. All you have to do to help out and keep this channel alive is to come hit the Become a Patron button to make a donation and come check out my rewards and goals. It's not a one-way street. You do get something in return if you contribute to the channel, as well as my videos that I put up. I will be putting up for free no matter what. But I appreciate all the donations and everyone who's helping me keep this channel going. And I thank everyone in advance for those who come over here and check out this page and consider giving to help out this channel. But that's going to be it, except for the most important thing. And of course, the most important thing is praising God's name, lifting Jesus on high, and understanding that the sacrifice he made by dying for our sins is the greatest sacrifice of all, and how prayer and consistent goodness of thought, these are principles that we have to own in our own lives first. We can't expect those who we see as being corrupt and being evil and being the progenitors of such destruction and awful chaos inside of our own government. We can't expect them to change if we don't embody the change we want to see, if that makes sense. So I want to read Psalm 24. What a great psalm. It's talking about the King of Glory, and I hope it just reinvigorates everyone's thrill and passion about how great God is and the glory of God, and how we need to put him up on the Most High first and foremost every day. You need to pray to God. You need to reach out, and you need to really commit your heart to the Lord and commit your heart to Jesus. Commit your heart to sharing the word of God with those you love and even those you don't love, because you have to share the word of God everywhere. You have to put it out there, and you have to wear that on your sleeve, because God is going to be your shield. He'll protect you, and he will grant you all the power that you need to make the message meaningful, to make it powerful, to put it out and have other people gravitate toward it, as long as you truly believe in your heart of hearts that God is going to be there for you always. And that's where I am. I truly believe that. And I hope you do too. But if you don't, or you're not sure, let me tell you and reassure you right now, God's going to be there for you no matter what. So keep your head up and keep praying, and just keep working hard, because God will recognize it. And if you haven't already been blessed, you have blessings in the works. Just remain faithful, remain strong, remain diligent, remain steadfast, and continue to abide in the Lord. So now, we'll read Psalm 24, and I hope this lifts your hearts. But it's called the King of Glory. And it goes, "The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord. And he laid its foundation on the seas and established it on the rivers. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not set his mind on what is false, and who has not sworn deceitfully. He will receive blessing from God. He will receive blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from God, and of his salvation. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob. Lift up your heads, you gates. Rise up, ancient doors. Then the King of glory will come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord, strong and mighty. The Lord, mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, you gates. Rise up, ancient doors. Then the King of glory will come in. Who is he, the King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. So remember that God is here for you. And all you have to do is have a pure heart and not want or follow the evil that's out there. Just work hard with God. Pray to God. Read your Bible. Go to church. Give back to your community. Reach out to God every day. When you wake up, say that little prayer. I love praying over every meal. I think that's a great opportunity to just say thank you to God and to air whatever you need to get out there for God to help you with. Because if you don't ask for God's help, unfortunately, he probably won't give it to you. And that's the only request God has, is that you reach out, you worship his name, and you live by his word. Then he will come and give blessings to you and put those blessings into your life. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If you don't take anything else away from this video, just remember that God absolutely loves you, and that you're just a prayer away from him at any given time. And his blessings are great, and they will shine a light for you to see better, to then get that light into your own heart, and then shine that light out to the world, so that others may pick up on the love and light of God that is the most important thing for each and every one of us. But that being said, if you don't take anything else away, like I said, just take that away. And again, thanks for watching, everyone, first foremost. And if you have not hit that subscribe button already, now's a really great opportunity at the end of the video here. Come to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted. But don't forget to go down and comment, leave your thoughts, theories down there. But thank you again to everyone who's watching, and thanks again to every one of my subscribers. But that's going to be it for me. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.